Welcome to Star Stories Daily. Don't forget to subscribe for daily amazing stories that inspire, move, and make you think. The wind whipped across the military parade ground as President Donald Trump stepped off Marine One. The blades roared overhead, cameras flashed, and a soft melody played from a stationed military band. Rows of Marines stood perfectly aligned, their postures sharp and unwavering. Every eye followed the president's steps, anticipation buzzing in the air. Among them stood Corporal Alex Moreno, 22, his dark eyes steady, jaw set in the quiet determination. While the others buzzed with excitement, Alex's mind was elsewhere. Today, the commander in chief would personally meet the troops, shaking hands with each one, a moment most soldiers would remember for life. Trump's gaze swept across the formation and finally landed on Alex, extending his hands as he had for every Marine before him. He expected the customary response, but Alex did not move to shake hands. He held his salute, eyes fixed forward, expression unreadable. A hush swept across the field. Trump's hand hovered in the mid-air, a flicker of confusion crossing his face. Slowly he nodded and continued down the line. The cameras captured every detail. Whispers of disbelief rippled among officers and spectators. One general muttered, "Did that just happen?" Alex's heart raced, but not from fear. He knew exactly why he had chosen silence over ceremony. This was not defiance. This was a statement born of personal loss, a vow that had been silently held for years. Later, inside the briefing room, Master Sergeant Caldwell awaited every sharp. The door closed behind Alex with a solid thud. Corporal Moreno, who refused a direct gesture from the commander-in-chief, "Explain yourself." Alex met his superior's gaze. "With respect, sir, I have my reasons." Caldwell leaned forward, voice firm. "Personal feelings have no place in uniform." Alex's voice wavered over slightly as he carried the weight of a painful truth. "It's not about politics, it's about my brother." Caldwell's brow furrowed. "Your brother?" Alex nodded. "Lance Corporal Daniel Moreno, lost in a covert operation overseas. Official reports claimed enemy fire, but Alex had found evidence suggesting a tragic misfire, one that had been covered up. His family had waited years for answers that never came. Joining the Marines had been his way to honor Daniel, and today he had hoped someone would finally listen. Caldwell studied him silently. "This is going to reach the top. Be ready for what comes next." Alex nodded firmly. "Sir, I have been ready for years." Outside, news crews burst. Social media erupted. Headlines screamed, "Marine snubs Trump, disrespect or protest." Opinions clashed, but the truth remained hidden. Alex cared a little for viral debates. He only sought justice for Daniel. Back at the barracks, Alex sat alone, staring at a neatly folded American flag. Daniel's flag. Memories filled his mind. Daniel's infectious laugh, late-night messages, and small acts of kindness, and then the mission that took him away. Months after Daniel's passing, Alex has discovered a hidden letter among his brother's belongings. It hinted at an internal mistake, friendly fire quietly covered to shield someone in command. The revelation has fueled years of frustration and grief. His friend Corporal Reyes finally broke the silence. "You going to tell them?" "I didn't do this for attention," Alex replied. "I did it for Daniel." Harris nodded quietly. "Then maybe it's time." 2 days later, a formal summons arrived. Lieutenant Genius entered briskly. "Corporal Moreno, the president requests a private meeting." Alex's heart pounded. This was not a reprimand, this was a chance. Clutching Daniel's faded letter, he prepared to finally reveal the truth. On the government plane, Alex's thought raced. How could he convey years of grief and injustice in a single meeting? How could he make them understand what had been buried under protocol and politics? When he entered the Oval Office, Trump stood composed behind the resolute desk. "Corporal Moreno, I understand you refused my handshake. Explain." Alex drew a deep breath. "Sir, it's about my brother Daniel. He was lost in action, but the circumstances were never clever. This letter is only proof I have that something went wrong." Trump read the letter carefully, expression steady, eyes thoughtful. You wanted to be noticed? Not for me, Alex said. For him, for the truth. Trump nodded slowly, then turned to his asides. Investigate quietly, but thoroughly. If there is a cover up, I want answers. For the first time in years, Alex felt hope. Within days, a task force uncovered hidden records. Daniel had been killed by friendly fire during a rescue attempt. Not enemy action. Reports had been altered to protect a high-ranking officer's career. The truth was finally exposed. At a press briefing, Trump held up Daniel's photograph. This Marine, Lance Corporal Daniel Moreno, was failed by the system. Today we corrected, his sacrifice is recognized, and justice would follow. Alex returned to base a changed man. Master Sergeant Caldwell greeted him with a small smile. Promotion effected immediately, Sergeant Moreno. Alex accepted silently. He hadn't done this for rank. That evening, a corrected flag bearing Daniel's name was placed in his hand. Tears welled as he whispered, "We finally know. Truth matters." The world had watched one moment, a refusal of the handshake, but now they would see the courage behind it. The sun rose over Camp Garrison, casting long shadows across the parade ground. Alex stood quietly holding the corrected flag, remembering Daniel's slaughter and courage. His fellow Marines whispered among themselves, some nodding with respect, others still in awe of the story that had unfolded. The press coverage continued, but Alex ignored the cameras. He focused on the families who, like his own, had waited years for answers. Letters, emails, and calls been arriving for veterans and civilians alike, all expressing gratitude, relief, and admiration. The single act of holding firm at a handshake had become a beacon of truth. That morning, Alex met with his mother. She had tears in her eyes, but this time they were not of sorrow alone. They were tears of justice finally served. She handed him a small photograph of Daniel. Smiling as always, Alex's fingers lingered on the edges, tracing the face he had loved and lost. Alex's days were filled with briefings and meetings. He joined a special task force tasked with reviewing mishandled military reports. Each case brought him face to face with stories similar to Daniel's. Family silenced, heroes unrecognized, truth buried. It was exhausting, but Alex persevered. He visited families in person whenever possible, delivering updates and reassurance. Each letter he sent carried a message: your loved one's truth matters. We will not forget. Slowly the culture began to shift. Transparency, accountability, and integrity became more than words, they became actions. Yet at night, Alex returned to his bunk and started at the flag. He whispered, "I will keep fighting for you, Daniel. This is just the beginning." Meanwhile, news outlets began featuring detailed reports on the task force finding. The story that had started as a handshake incident grew into a nationwide conversation about military accountability. Veteran groups praised Alex's courage, and even critics admitted that his actions were about principle, not politics. Alex was invited to speak at ceremonies and memorial events. He shared Daniel's story with humility, emphasizing that it was not about him, but about the promise he had made. Young recruits listened with wide eyes, inspired to ask questions and demand honesty. Each speech, each appearance reinforced a powerful lesson. Silence allows injustice to thrive, but courage gives voice to the voiceless. One afternoon, as Alex reviewed reports in the task force office, a familiar figure approached. President Trump entered quietly, observing the room with a steady gaze. "Sergeant Moreno," he said, "I wanted to see the progress firsthand." Alex stood and saluted. Trump nodded. "You have done remarkable work." Your brother's story sparked a movement for accountability. Alex felt a quiet pride, not for recognition, not for praise, but because justice finally was being served. "Thank you, sir," he replied. "I only wish every family could have had this sooner." Trump placed a hand on his shoulder. "Then keep fighting. Some battles are worth every sacrifice." Alex watched as the president left, thinking of Daniel's courage, of the promise he had kept, and of the countless others waiting for their truth to be heard. Evenings at Camp Grayson took on a different tone. The Marines walked with a renewed sense of purpose. Alex held informal sessions, mentoring younger soldiers about integrity, resilience, and the importance of standing firm even when the world doesn't understand. A quiet knock on his door brought Harris inside. "Sergeant, you have changed everything here. Families are calling, veterans are writing, they want to meet you." Alex smiled faintly. "I didn't do this for attention. I did it because Daniel deserved it." Harris nodded, understanding, "And now others can carry that lesson forward." Alex gazed out the sunset, thinking of his brother. The world had finally learned the truth, but the work was far from over. With each step, each decision, he honored Daniel not just as a fallen soldier, but as a hero whose story deserved to be told in full. The weeks that followed were a whirlwind. Alex spent long hours reviewing military records, interviewing veterans, and compiling evidence of mishandled operations. Each case reminded him of Daniel, of his slaughter, his courage, and the injustice that had silenced him. Yet, amidst the paperwork and the briefings, Alex found small moments of peace. At dawn, he would jog across the parade grounds, the flag tucked into his backpack. The crisp morning air reminded him of purpose and commitment. For every soldier who had been denied recognition, he carried a promise that stories would not be buried. Letters continued to arrive, handwritten notes from families, emails from veterans, and even messages from strangers moved by Daniel's story. Each one fueled Alex's determination. He read them carefully, silently absorbing their grief and gratitude. Some expressed anger at the system, others relief that someone finally cared. One evening, Alex received a note from a young Marine named Ethan. "Your courage gives me hope," it read. "I have always wondered that really happened to my uncle. You have inspired me to ask questions even when they are uncomfortable." Alex folded the note and tucked it into his uniform. That was why he continued, for Daniel and for all the Daniels whose voices had been silenced. Months into the task force, Alex uncovered a chain of cover-ups that stretched higher than he had imagined. Officers who had altered reports to protect their careers were now being held accountable. Slowly, transparency received secrecy, and families received long overdue answers. Through it all, Alex remained grounded. He never sought fame or recognition. His focus was on truth, justice, and honoring Daniel's memory. In quiet moments, he would visit Daniel's grave, kneeling beside the headstone, whispering promises. "I won't stop. I will keep fighting." Even at the memorial wall, he traced Daniel's name with his fingertips, feeling the weight of years of silence lift. The media coverage evolved. What had begun as a controversy over a handshake became a story of integrity, bravery, and persistence. Veteran organizations invited Alex to speak at events, but he always redirected attention. "This is not about me," he told them. "It's about the promise we make to those who gave everything." Truth must be honored. At each event, Alex noticed young recruits looking up at him with admiration and determination. Some whispered to their peers, inspired to ask difficult questions and demand accountability. One thing was clear: the act of refusing a handshake has sparkled a movement that extended far beyond Camp Garrison. One afternoon, a delivery arrived for Alex. Inside was a small, unassuming box. Opening it, he found Daniel's posthumous Silver Star Medal, quietly awarded but never delivered. Alongside it was a handwritten note from the President Trump. "Your brother's courage will not be forgotten. Thank you for your dedication to truth," it read. Alex held the medal in the hand, silent, eyes misting. The weight of years of grief and frustration gave way to a rare sense of closure. He had kept his promise. Daniel's sacrifice was finally recognized, and the truth restored. That evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Alex placed the medal next to Daniel's headstone. "We did it, brother," he whispered. "They finally know." Alex returned to his daily routine at Camp Garrison through noticing felt ordinary anymore. Every salute, every drill, every morning flag raising carried a new weight of meaning. He was no longer just a Marine. He had become a guardian of truth for those who could no longer speak for themselves. The task force continued to uncover mismanaged reports, each revelation a small victory in a long fight. Families who had waited decades finally received closure. Letters of gratitude arrived almost daily, some hand delivered, some carefully folded in envelopes, addressed with trembling hands. Each one reminded Alex why he had stood firm that day, why he had refused the handshake. During one briefing, Lieutenant Gaines looked at Alex With a mixture of pride and astonishment, Sergeant Moreno, your work is changing lives. Families are being heard and officers are finally being held accountable. It's incredible. Alex shook his head. It's not about me, it's about Daniel and all the others who deserve the truth. If it inspires just one person to keep asking questions, then it's so worth it. Gaines nodded silently. The room was quiet, filled with the weight of the work they were accomplishing. Every report corrected, every hidden story revealed, was a testament to the courage of one Marine who refused to stay silent. Back at the barracks, Alex often found himself reflecting. The moment on the parade ground, the handshake had been so simple, yet it had sparked something much larger. He remembered the stunned faces of fellow Marines, the whispers, the sudden hush, and the confusion in the President's eyes. But that moment had also become a symbol. It was no longer about defiance, it was about integrity, accountability, and keeping promises. Every time he spoke of Daniel's story, Alex felt a sense of purpose that had been absent for years. The world was finally starting to listen. Alex began mentoring young recruits personally, guiding them not just in drills and strategy, but in ethics, courage, and standing for what is right. They looked up to him, not as a celebrity but as a role model for honesty and bravery. One afternoon, a young recruit whispered, "Sir, I never knew the truth could be this powerful. You gave me the courage to ask the hard questions." Alex smiled softly. Never stop asking. Silence only lets injustice grow. Speak up, even when it costs something. That's how change happens. The recruit nodded, inspired, and the lesson spread quietly among the troops. Integrity, Alex realized, could ripple out further than any headline ever could. Evening fell over the camp. Alex held Daniel's Silver Star medal once again, placing it carefully on his bunk. The news courage has quieted, but the work continued. Behind the scenes, investigations moved forward. Officers who had once hidden mistakes now faced accountability. Alex walked to the memorial garden, the flag fluttering in the wind, and saluted Daniel's headstone. "We did it, brother. You are remembered the way you should be, not just by us, but by the whole country." He stood silently for a long moment, feeling a profound sense of peace. The handshake that had once symbolized controversy had now become a symbol of truth, honor, and a brother's unbreakable promise. Alex's work with the task force intensified. Each new case uncovered a story of bravery hidden beneath bureaucracy, of heroes overlooked, of families denied closure. He carefully documented every report, every testimony, and every suppressed detail. The weight of responsibility was heavy, but Alex carried it willingly. Late one night, he sat in his office, a single lamp illuminating Daniel's photograph on the desk. Letters from families were stacked neatly beside it. He read them, absorbing the emotions, the gratitude, the relief. Each one reminded him why he had refused that handshake months ago. It had never been about defiance, it had always been about truth. News outlet once focused on controversy began telling the deeper story. Veteran organizations highlighted Alex's dedication to transparency. Young Marines, inspired by his courage, began asking questions about their own units and reports. A quiet revolution had begun, not for politics but for integrity. Alex received an unexpected visit from President Trump once again. "Sergeant Moreno," he said, "you have done more than I imagined. The work you are leading is saving families years of grief. I'm proud of what you have accomplished." Alex, standing tall, replied softly, "I only wish every family had someone like Daniel, someone whose story could inspire action." Spring arrived at Camp Garrison, painting the grounds in warm hues. Alex walked among the young Marines, offering guidance and mentorship. He emphasized courage not just in the battle, but in the speaking truth, even when it was uncomfortable or risky. During a small ceremony, a group of families approached him, thanking him for uncovering truth. Mothers, fathers, siblings, all holding photographs of their loved ones, shared their stories. Alex listened quietly, nodding respectfully. He never claimed credit. This was about the heroes themselves and about keeping the legacies alive. Alex began working on a foundation quietly without fanfare, called the Silent Salute, dedicated to advocating for truth in the military deaths and misconduct. The mission was clear: honor the fallen, uncover hidden stories, and support families left in silence. With every case the foundation reviewed, justice was slowly restored. Families received letters, medals, and official corrections. Veterans who had been denied recognition were finally acknowledged. The work was painstaking but deeply rewarding. Each success, no matter how small, was a victory for truth. Evenings found Alex at Daniel's grave more often. The wind rustled the trees as he placed the silver star beside the headstone. "We have done it, brother," he whispered. "You are remembered the way you deserve. The truth lives on." The camp had changed. Marines carried themselves with a renewed sense of honor. Young recruits followed Alex's example. Understanding that integrity meant more than orders, more than protocol, it meant standing firm for what was right even when it was difficult. Alex looked at the horizon, feeling a sense of completion. The story that had begun with a single act, refusing a handshake, had grown into the moment. Daniel's legacy was secure and justice finally had a voice. Alex's days grew busier, but the purpose never wavered. Every investigation, every corrected report, every letter sent was a step toward justice. The task force had uncovered multiple cases of mishandled deaths, and families who had long suffered in silence finally received answers. During a quiet afternoon at the memorial wall, Alex watched young Marines read the names of those lost. Some for the first time, he realized that the handshake that had started the chain of events was no longer about him. It was about integrity, accountability, and honoring every life that had been overlooked. The news media now covered Alex Foundation, the silent salute highlighting its work with families and veterans. Stories of restored honor spread across the country. The movement had grown organically, fueled not by politics but by courage and determination. One evening, a letter arrived from a window of Marine who scales Alex has reviewed. "Thank you for speaking when no one else would," she wrote. "You gave me peace, and my husband has the recognition he deserved." Alex folded the letter carefully, feeling a deep sense of purpose. Daniel's memory had inspired something far bigger than either of them could have imagined. Alex received another visit from President Trump at the foundation's headquarters. "Sergeant Molino," he said, "you have changed how we view accountability. You have set an example that will last generations." Alex smiled faintly. "Sir, it's not about recognition, it's about honoring the truth and those who gave everything." Trump nodded. "Then keep going. Some battles are silent, but they shape everything." For Alex, it wasn't about applause or headlines. It was about ensuring that no story was forgotten and that every family received the respect they deserved. At a quiet dawn ceremony, Alex stood alone at the flagpole with the Daniel Silver Star medal. Beside him, the wind carried the faint sound of the bugle playing taps. He saluted solemnly, whispering, "This one's for you, Daniel. We have kept our promise." He reflected on how a single moment, a refused handshake, had sparked a movement, challenged a system, and ultimately brought peace to countless families. Integrity, courage, and the truth had proven stronger than silence to fear. Alex's eyes scanned the horizon. He knew there would always be more work, more stories to uncover. But for now, justice had spoken, and Daniel's name was finally honored the way it should be. Back at the camp garrison, Alex walked among the young Marines, teaching, guiding, and inspiring. He had become a symbol not for defense but of courage, persistence, and truth. Families of veterans and young soldiers alike looked to him as a living reminder that honor is never optional. As the sun set, Alex paused one last time at Daniel's headstone, the silver star resting beside it. "We did it, brother. The truth lives on." Thank you for watching Star Stories Daily. Alex's voice would say if we were narrating, "Remember to honor the truth, stand for what's right, and never stay silent." Don't forget to subscribe for more stories that inspire and move you every single day. And with that, the story concluded an emotional journey of loss, courage, and a promise kept, leaving viewers inspired and reflexive. Subscribe for more stories.